Do you have a low credit score, but you still need up to 250K in funding for your business? Well, watch this and stay to the end because the last one might surprise you. Let's get it. What's going on? It's Colin Brown here from Business Credit Unlimited, and I'm back. So I'm the guy that helps my clients and business owners, aspiring business owners, to get up to 250K and 0% funding for their businesses so they can start, grow, or scale. All right, and I've helped hundreds of clients and millions of funding at this point in over 20 different industries. So kind of know what I'm doing here. But anyways, let's go. Let's talk about if you don't have a high personal credit score, you have a low personal credit score. What can you do if you're still looking to get funding for your business? Well, let's take a look here. Now, how to get up to 250K in business funding with a low credit score? Well, first of all, what is a low credit score? Any credit score that's under a 680 FICO score on either bureau. I don't care if you got, 690 and 688. If one of them 679, I would consider that to be a low credit score. All right. You probably like, dang, look at your standards. Oh well. The average credit score in America is actually over 700. So it's really baseline to have a 700. Just think about it like that. Anyways, if your score is under 680, it's probably because more than likely it's one of these three things. One, you have high credit utilization. You need to get it lower. That could be the only thing that's going on. You could have like a 690 or something, or excuse me, like a 670, but with your utilization paid down, you could be at a 750, 780 even, depending on how much credit utilization that you have or how high your utilization is and how much available that you have or don't have for the lack, or are you that you don't have. Excuse me, I ain't editing this out. I ain't editing it. One take Drake, baby. Uh, Number two, you have negative items. So that could be charge-offs, collections, late payments, child support, medical bills, bankruptcies, evictions, late payments on student loans, repossessions, etc. Maybe I'm missing something. I put a lot here though. So if you got one of those things, it's going to drag down your credit score, which is going to have you at a low credit score, but you're still looking for funding, right? So short credit history with primary accounts. I put this in all caps because a lot of times I have prospects come up to me and they're like, yo, I got 10 years of credit history. Okay, cool. And then I look at their report and it's nothing but authorized user accounts, or what we call AUs. I'm talking about primary accounts. You have short credit history with primary accounts. Normally less than 2 years, I would consider to be short credit history, because really for optimal amount of funding, you want 5+ years, 10+ years. But you may be thinking, man, what in the world, dude? I ain't got all that. I understand. I'm just saying what I would classify here is the short credit history, and not just my own thoughts. It's really what the banks kind of look at too and what they would consider. Okay. For business credit cards, history with your personal credit cards matter the most. So if you're looking to get funding at 0% interest, that's normally going to be through 0% business credit cards. They offer an introductory rate once you open up the card for up to 18 months of 0% interest. Okay. So if you're looking to do that to fund your business so you don't have to worry about the interest rate for, a year plus, then your personal credit card history matters the most, because the banks are going to look at comparable credit history, meaning what's most comparable to a business credit card, a personal credit card. They're almost the same, right? At least in the way that they function. It's a credit limit. It could be a charge card too, of course, that doesn't have a preset spending limit with American Express or whatever. But for the most part, you're going to have a credit limit, and you use it, you pay it back, use it, pay it back. Since it functions the same way, that's what the banks are going to look at when it comes to getting you funded on the business side. They're a lot different because, business credit cards, personal credit cards are different, but how they function is virtually the same. So you got to have 2+ years of primary credit history with personal credit cards. Normally you want to have between 1 and 3. You can get away with even 1 personal credit card sometimes and get funded. I've seen it before. I've done it, but normally you want at least minimum 2 to 3. Could be more. I mean, it could be a lot more than that. You could have 20 personal cards. That's fine, but you don't want to go, any less than that. You need at least one, too. You need at least one primary account 2+ years for the most part. If not, that's why your score isn't that high. Because sometimes, prospects come up to me too, and they're like, "Why is my score? What do I need to do to increase my score?" It's probably one of these 3 things right here. This is like the basis of a higher personal credit score, really, like these things right here. But you won't have credit utilization if you don't have any primary cards. So that's something you got to take care of. You don't have any credit cards right now. Apply for. Well, I ain't gonna tell you to apply for one today because depending on what your the rest of your profile is looking like. But you can at least get a secure card. Like I would apply for a secure card today if I didn't have a personal credit card. Start today. I don't care. You may be like, it's gonna take forever. I don't care. You need to get started today. Anyway, so there are no exceptions. There are exceptions, but a 700 credit score is normally what's needed for 0% funding, like I said, to get 0% business credit cards. Why do you even need a 700 plus score for 0% funding, especially? And we're going to get to what you can do. Give me a second. I got to explain these things first. We're going to talk about there's 3 ways you can still get funding with a low credit score. Hang in there with me. Now, so why do you need a 700 plus score anyways, you may be thinking? Simply put, they want, meaning the banks, they want some type of way to come at you if you do not pay back your funding by way of a personal guarantee. Personal guarantee is when you say, okay, I'm personally liable for this business funding, meaning if you don't pay it back, they can come at you personally. That sounds like, to some people, they hear that, they're like, oh my God, there's no way, I don't want to be personally liable. It's okay, especially when you start out. It doesn't matter. If you're paying it back, it doesn't matter. They're never going to come at you. And if you go after the right business credit cards, they're not going to report to the personal side, so it don't matter. People make a big deal about this, but that's why. I'm just telling you. So the banks are typically not willing to lend to customers with low credit scores, especially for 0% funding, okay? I mean, how else would they ensure that you will pay back? By your word alone? No. Okay, we can't go by your word. I'm sure your friend, a cousin, or somebody that is borrow some money from your son and they never paid you back. I'm pretty sure they said they were too, right? So another thing, don't get caught up in the no PG funding lies, okay? I see it all the time, all over the internet. You cannot take a new business with no money generating, meaning you haven't started generating revenue for your business yet, and a low credit score and get big funding. You can't do it, all right? It's just not going to happen. Now, if you do, you're going to be hit with some predatory loans. Like if you try to pay 1,000% interest, to be my guest. But if we're talking about actually getting 0% funding and or a low interest rate, it ain't going to happen with a new business and a low credit score. So don't get caught up in that. And I'm especially talking about funding that you can actually use however you want. Vendor credit, Uline, Granger, all that doesn't count here, okay? We're talking about funding from the major banks and institutions. Now, there are exceptions for having a low credit score and still getting funding. We'll get into those later. Now, here are some ways to get funding even if you have a low credit score. Here's the number one option that I see that works the best. And it may sound obvious, but to some it's really not because they don't think about it like this. Boom, a credit partner. This only works though if you have a let me define what credit partner is. A credit partner is a business partner that has good, great, excellent credit, a credit score that you can leverage to get your business funded. Okay, but this only works again if that person does have a 700 plus credit score and they are close to you. Okay, now a credit partner is much different from a cosigner. Because you may be thinking like a cosigner. No, you're not cosigning because you're not, like when you apply for funding from the banks, it's going to be based off of that credit partner's credit. You're not going to say, okay, it's mine, but I'm getting them to cosign for me. There is no co-signing for, there is no co-signing for a lot of the business funding that you get on the business side, or 0% funding that you get. Okay, so in a co-sign is normally for credit purposes only, right? And they really have nothing to gain for the most part. Like you co-signing for a car or something, you're gonna be driving a car, but their credit is tied to it. So if you don't pay, they're gonna be the one messed up. That's why you should never co-sign on the personal side. Never do it, because you really have nothing to gain from it, only to lose. But a credit partner is really different, much different, because this is normally someone that you are in business with that's also going to be able to gain from being able to start, grow, or scale your company, because you guys are business partners. So it's not like they're just putting themselves out there, and if you don't pay, like, you're going to be directly tied to if they can pay or not, because you're also in the business. So you working and doing your thing, you guys working together, and it could be more than one. You guys working together, though, is going to ensure that you'll be able to pay back on whatever you borrow, right? So you need to ask any business partner or partners that you have if their credit score is 700 plus. If you don't know, oftentimes that's all you really need to do. Like, I've seen this work over and over again. So ask your parents, spouse, or significant other too as well if they would like to be added to whatever business you're looking to start, so they could be a credit partner if they have great credit too as well. It's something else that you can do. And like I was saying, I have several clients that pulled this off successfully, even from back years ago, and they're still in business now, still doing great. Because the thing is, like, that's what they could bring to the table. You could bring to the table the idea, the innovation, the other aspects of growing whatever company it is. If it's real estate investing, you could be, doing the networking aspect of it, or looking for deals, and they could be on the financial side. Like a lot of times these partnerships, they work great because we're all different types of people, and we all have different strengths and quote unquote weaknesses. I don't like saying, weaknesses like that, but it is what it is. Some things that we're good at, some things that we're not good at. And if your personal credit is not there right now, it's okay. Just look for somebody that is. That's another thing I could have put here. Like, you could just look for somebody. It doesn't have to be somebody you already know. It needs to be somebody that you know, but meaning it doesn't have to be somebody that's already in your network or something like that. You could look for somebody that's a credit partner. Now, if it's somebody new, they may be less likely to do this. But if it's somebody that you do know and you just, you guys didn't from the beginning intend on starting a business together, that's fine. Like, you can find somebody, start, whatever it is together. Two heads are better than one, really. So, I mean, hey, this is the number one option, bar none, especially if you want 0% funding. This is pretty much the only way. So sorry if you came to this video looking for this little secret hack where you can get 250K with a 500 score. Look, outside of other two things we about to mention, or really one thing, it ain't gonna happen. So this is your best option. Be proactive with this. Like, you could go on Facebook, Instagram, start hitting up people in your phone. Like, really be intentional about this. If you have a low credit score and you're serious about starting, growing, or scaling a company, and you really need funding for it, get you a credit partner, man. Don't take this lightly. Actually do something about this, okay? Be active about it, or intentional. Now, number two, if you already have a cash flowing business, do you already have a business generating tens of thousands or more a month? Then you could be eligible for funding with only using bank statements and tax returns. And speaking of, if your credit score is low and you have a cash flowing business, it's really best to make sure that you have your docs in order. So if your credit score isn't in order, fine, but make sure your docs are in order. Docs meaning, you got bank statements that you can show. Okay. Even if it's not like great profit, at least you can show that you have revenue coming in. You got tax returns, you got profit and loss statements, you got balance sheets, et cetera, all the different type of forms that an accountant normally would be able to do for you, or you could do yourself like on QuickBooks or whatever the case. You need to have your docs in line. If you're looking to get funded, You at least have to have that if you have a low credit score. And this works even better if your business has been around for 2+ years. Yeah, you can do an age court. You can purchase an age court, but whether you have one or not, whether you bought one or not, it will work better if your business has been around for 2+ years, because you already, have the disadvantage of having a low credit score. Showing that you've been around for some years is going to help when it comes to getting funded. Okay, even with a low credit score, you can get funded by alternative sources. And this will mainly not be 0% business credit cards from major banks. Just to let you know, you will need a 700 plus score 9 times out of 10 for that. But you can get access to some business loans and some business lines of credit. Only thing with that is you have to be careful about the interest rates of these loans. So I talked about that on another recent video that I did, and I'll put it in the description. You have to be careful that it's not an MCA, a merchant cash advance, because that's the type of business loans that you normally qualify for with a lower credit score. So keep that in mind. All right. But if you already have a business, already making money, you just, for whatever reason, you never really paid attention to your personal credit score, you still can get funding. Okay. It just won't be 0%, but watch the business loans and make sure your docs are in order. And more times than not, I see like the person that is in a situation, they normally do have this stuff in order, because you get to making money. You pretty much every business owner, they mind thinking like, let me get an accountant, and they're going to get you right on that. So make sure you have an accountant, make sure all this is, you have all these different documents that you can show. And if you're looking for specific banks to go to, like you can literally just do something like looking up best bad credit business loans, something like this. I have some options, and I've have experience with some of these banks like this on the screen right now, like Fundbox, On Deck, things like that. I'm gonna say that to another video though, going into the very specifics, because I want to go down to each bank and lender and actually talk about the advantages and disadvantages. But that's something that you can do. Now, here's the obvious answer: just repair your own credit. I know. Duh, right? But you need to repair your own credit if these two other options don't apply to you. Yes, it's the obvious answer, but really not so obvious for some, because they get so caught up in no PG funding that they waste months, even years, not repairing their own credit, because they're taught that they don't need a good credit score for funding. I see this so much. Really, for my clients and the people that I'm looking to serve, this is not you, really. But if it is, I don't know. I find a lot of these people that's really caught up on the no PG thing, they're like really hard to talk to about this. So I'm not really trying to convert you, but I'm just saying, like, if you have another option, hey, by all means, comment, let me know. Hey, this is a way I got 250K with a 500 credit score with a new business. I had nothing, no credit partners. Let me know. Hey, let me know. Maybe it's something I don't know, but nah, it ain't. Nah, it just ain't. It don't exist. So, but you feel free to prove me wrong. Now, take whatever time you need to get your credit right. That's what I have here. Whether you're in the 500 range or a 660, whatever you starting at 400, I don't care. As long as it's under 720-ish, you probably have some things that you can work on. So just start on it. If credit history is your biggest concern, you can also, something you can do is start your LLC now. Make sure you have your LLC, whether your credit score is in order or not. If you're looking to start, you don't already have your LLC, you're not already in business, performing whatever it is, just make sure you have your LLC, okay? That way you can use your own LLC while you work on your credit. You can be established in that age. Now, you can purchase an age corp as well. But if not, just start your own. But either way, just start. Start today. Don't make excuses. Like I said, the average credit score is really 700 plus. So you're behind if you don't have that. Yeah, you could have fallen on bad times. There's a million things that could happen. Look, I know. I get it. I'm not immune to these things. These things happen to me. It's happened to my clients. Like, I get it. Okay. And I'm not too far away from having that happen to me or something. I get it. All our scores could be under. All I'm saying is just do something about it. That's all I'm saying. All right. And if you comment credit repair below, I will send you to my trusted credit repair specialist. She's been in business for years and have proven results. We personally don't do credit repair. Like all of our clients that come in, we're looking for a 700 plus score to fund them, but I will send you in good hands. All right. Or you can do it yourself, but either way, just get it done. Now, the bonus is apply for grants. There are grants available oftentimes for business owners that don't require you to pay them back, because that's what a grant is. It's not a loan, but it's really just money you can get for your business that you don't even have to pay back. It could be through different government programs. It could be through different little city programs. There's so many different things out there. I don't find this to be the most reliable way to fund a business because I think it's slow. I think it's really a niche type of situation, but I've heard some things that, this will work, especially if none of these things are an option to you. Like say you I don't have money to repair my own credit. I don't have the time to do it on my own. I don't have a credit partner, don't have a cash flow in business. I would just say, just look for grants. Unfortunately, though, I am not the grant guy, so you have to do that research on your own. Just throwing out the information so that way you will have it, but that is pretty much it. These are some of the only ways. I would even go to venture to say these are the only ways that you can get funding for a business if you have a low credit score. So that's something to consider. I would just start working on my score myself if it was me. Whether you hire somebody to do it yourself, or really, I would just look for a credit partner. Put it out there. It could be LinkedIn. Start meeting some people. If you don't have the high credit score, one thing you do have to your advantage that nobody can take away from you is your ability to communicate with others, network, and actually take action on this. So if you're looking to get funded, that's what you need to do. But that's pretty much it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe because there's more videos on your way of how to get funding for your business. And until next time, you guys, peace.